Hey guys, so welcome back to Indirect Knowledge. So tonight we've got a special tarot card reading. This one's a little bit overdue actually, and this is we're just going to go with the first initial N. And N, he would like to know, it's more like job related kind of information in that, to see if he's going to maybe get a job, like another job type of situation. Right now he's on a visa, and so his situation's a little precarious with that. So he wants to know if he's going to be able to find something by July, and what the best course of action and everything will be surrounding this circumstance, this situation. So yeah, let's do the reading. Sometimes when I do these shuffles like this, sometimes things come to me, like I get to really zero in or really focus in on the reading itself. So sometimes, things will just come to me kind of naturally. But in the beginning stages of this, I just like to get the cards, kind of get the old energy off the cards, kind of do it sort of in a neutral way. And then we can focus in on doing a very more specific kind of shuffle. Some people think that it is the spread itself that is the most important thing with tarot, but it's not always that. Sometimes it's actually the shuffling, the things that you take for granted kind of the most with the tarot is actually can be some of the most important elements. And that's why, like, the entire process, it's not just reading the cards or knowing what the cards are, that type of thing, but it's also just about like sort of trusting your intuition on some level, just like when, as you're shuffling, like knowing when to stop shuffling and those type of things, And usually for me, I can tell you just from experience here that it comes a lot from just, it's almost like when you just kind of know, like, that it's the right time. And you also know when it's not the right time. So I think maybe knowing when it's not the right time is the most important thing, because if it's not the right time, you can continue shuffling. And then at some point you'll get to a place where you'll feel right. It'll just kind of make sense to you. Okay, so I just did the really exhaustive original shuffle. Now I'm just cutting these. Actually, I'm doing like a quad shuffle, a quad cut. Now I'm going to actually focus in on N's reading and stuff, and we're going to find out about this. So he says, I was laid off from my job at my current organization. I'm on a visa and I'm on a thin line here. Visa expires 13th July 2023. And just wanted to know if I could do a reading to see if he'll get a new job soon, or really what should I do, he's asking. So that's where we're going to keep the focus at now. Okay. Okay, so first card that we have is kind of our near past card. This is the bit of information that was to do with the losing the position or getting laid off, that type of thing. And the card that comes up is the Tower. So the Tower is a really destructive. When this card comes up, in this particular placement, it's one where like it just kind of wells back up all those emotions and everything, and it's a reminder of us exactly what the Tower really does entail. And in this particular place, we've already seen the destruction happen. The job, being on this visa, worrying about what's going to happen. But like the rug has been swept out from underneath you, been laid off, income is suffering. So all these kind of things from the outside looking in, it looks really destructive, and it looks like, and this just happened, and why did it just happen? And how could this be happening to me at this time? Like what have I done to deserve this? When I'm trying to get everything set up, and now it's like my world's been turned upside down. And that's the Tower. And that's what this situation is going on with everything within. And so it can be scary, and it can be nerve-wracking and unstabilizing. I'll tell you what happens like with the Tower card a lot, you guys. I do a lot of readings, and from time to time this card comes up for someone, and what I've found to be true in most of these instances is that based on a person's level of attachment, and I'm talking attachment in the material sense, is usually a direct correlation or of the amount of pain and suffering and just utter depression that can happen with that card. And sometimes, we set ourselves up for failure. We care about the wrong things, and we don't look at things everything in this material universe, in this material world, comes to an end. Whether it's a job, family members passing away, the money you have, the material possessions that you own. And I've said this many times on the channel. I use examples. It can be like sticky pad, for notepad. At some point, this is not going to exist, probably because I'll have made so many notes or something. But at some point, it just will go out of existence. Even these tarot cards, one day, they'll be put aside, and a new deck will come about, assumedly. So, and it's so interesting to me that people put so much emphasis on the things that are not lasting, whereas there is the spiritual that is always there. So from our tradition, our belief system is the things that you do for spiritual development, those things follow you lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And, they're the only thing that really matters, because it's the only thing that's eternal in that sense. Whereas like in this lifetime, the here and now, we get so caught up in this illusionary world, this Maya, that we think that all this stuff matters. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't. And so it really determines a lot of this suffering is determined on your level of attachment, how much emphasis you place on it, how important it is to you. If you go out and you buy like $1 million house, and you've saved up the money and you go do it, and then something happens to that house, and maybe you didn't have flood insurance or something, and then it floods and that house is destroyed, and you don't have the money now to get it fixed, and so you're forced to sell it at a discount. That can be very, painful if you're very attached to that, like if that was like your life heirs, your life goal. So my advice from a spiritual place is to when things happen like this, you lose a job, things like that, my advice is to kind of just take a, decompress a little bit, and, there's the practical side of things like, okay, how am I going to survive? How am I going to get back on my feet? How am I going to get back on track? And like self-preservation measures, basically. When the tower happens, that's a lot of what people tend to try to reconcile with themselves is this, how do I preserve what's left of the situation? How do I continue on? How do I minimize the losses to the best that I can? And that's a natural reaction. That tends to be what happens with people a lot with that card. Let's move on, though. So that was the near past. So we understand this. This is kind of a given. We understand that In's job is was laid off in that. The next card that we have is the present card, and this is the Nightmare card. So the Nightmare card, this Nine of Swords, it's like utter disbelief. It's like, oh my goodness, what just happened? What is happening to me? Why is this happening? It's the dark night of the soul for a lot of us when this card comes up. You feel despair, you feel worry, you feel fear. Lamentation is another word that comes to mind. And we're lamenting for things that were. We're lamenting for things that we had in our mind, that we want, the way that we wanted things to go. And they're not going the way that we anticipated or that we planned. And now it's not good. And that's what's going on right now. So the first two cards out of the gate, they give us a look at what just happened. And now what is going on right now, kind of on the mental level. When we talk about swords, and we've got 9 of them here, we're talking about stuff in the mind. I've said this on the channel before. It's one I keep going back to, but it's chapter 6, verse 6 of the Bhagavad Gita. It's for one who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. For one who's failed to do so, the mind will be the greatest enemy. And with this Nightmare card coming up, a lot of times it's that mind being the greatest enemy that is haunting us. The Tower doesn't help that situation. It's like we're reminded with the Tower that nothing is permanent. It's that reminder of our impermanence as far as the body and stuff is concerned. And the problem is that for a period of time, we'll go along the trajectory of our lifespan, the trajectory of our life, and things will be good. It's like we're achieving something, or something's happening, or we're making more money, or we got a promotion, or, something positive's come about. And we see these it's like a ladder. It's like the ladder of success, right? The problem is that, it's kind of like every day it's like positive, but then all of a sudden it just takes one little tiny little thing to lose everything. And trust me, I'm not trying to be negative and about death and despair or dreary or any of that kind of stuff, because there's always hope. And that hope is like the future card. So we have some of the not so good cards in the deck that just came up. So what is the next card? Well, I've got good news for you, and it is the best card in the deck. That's right, you got the Sun. Brighter days ahead. So don't worry, don't lament, don't fear, don't have any mindful distractions or anything like that. Let it all go. You got this card. This card is literally the best card in the deck. It's full transparency. Light is shining. Life is good. Everything comes back. And it's that cycle. We talk about cycles with like samsara. It's like birth, death, old age, rebirth, so on and so forth, death and old age. But anyway, when the sun comes out, it's the positive side of things. We're seeing the flip side of everything. So everything that came about as negative, or that was in our mind as negative, and we're having problems trying to deal with or handle, when this card comes up and all, and this card is very, this is going to be a card that will take us up to about probably the next 7 months is about what I'm picking up. And I'm seeing kind of like a 3-month span or something like that. So in the next couple of months, things will start to take a different turn for you. I'm not exactly sure exactly what that's going to look like, but I can give you the reassurance that things are going to be good. Let's look at that Nightmare card for just a second here. Let's look at the Page of Wands. Pages, Wands. Wands are the energy. It's usually fast-paced. Pages are messengers, so it's fast energy. Things are happening fast. It's a message of expediency in that you're feeling the pressure that you have to get something going right now because you have that July deadline. The sun is saying like 7 months out, things are going to be like super bright for you and all. But, we're still trying to articulate, okay, well, we've got July coming up, and that's, things need to happen before July. But so what is all this business with this, 7 months out kind of drive? Well, this is progressive. The sun is coming up, okay? And it'll reach its peak in 7 months. 7 months, you'll see. So let's see where, tomorrow's May, I guess. So we'll say May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So right around November is when, and it makes perfect sense because we're going from the 7-year in numerology to an 8-year, which is all about material abundance, positivity with work, jobs, careers, business, all that kind of stuff happens. It's really about putting things in a nice systematic order for yourself, getting things going good. Money, finances, everything seems to take care of itself in an 8-year. So we're moving in that direction. So that sun is telling you that as we get closer and closer to this 8-year, which would be, end of October, first part of November, and then moving on and all into the next year, that, brighter, sunnier days ahead for you. So things will be good. So not to worry is basically what it's telling you. Let's look at where your mind is at with things. So it's not a bad mindset, like given everything that you've been through, this is sort of almost a little disconnected from what I've seen other people probably feeling or emotionalizing or kind of their attitude about things. But this cup is overflowing. This is kind of the primordial hand. You see the cup, you see the dove, which is symbolic of like spiritual abundance, this is a wish card. It's new beginnings, new things happening. So you're feeling that there's this new kind of energy that's coming about and that new things are coming into your life and that things are going to be good. Really good card, good mindset to have, I definitely would say. Now, the answer to, getting to this brighter path or to getting things happening and stuff like that the answer is actually in the situation. In the situation that we have now, we have this 5 of Pentacles. We're kind of down on the luck, out in the cold, feeling the pangs of everything going on. The good news is that when we're here, we can eventually look at this as an opportunity. So people look at bad times or, falling down, these kind of things. Many of us look at this as kind of like, oh, woe is me, that kind of thing. But the answer card that you have right here in this spread is actually the answer is in the situation, because this is where you're kind of at right now with things. But because you're in this situation, it's going to open up other doors for you. And those other doors are exactly what's going to be perfect for you for moving forward. That's the positive thing with it. What is our outcome card? It's interesting because there's 3 wands here. You see the person looking out onto the, so you've got a couple of things behind you. You've got one wand in your hand, but you've got resources, you've got things there. It's basically telling you that, you've been very successful in the past. That's what that 5 of Pentacles really is all about, our answer card here. You've been successful in the past. You know how to get back on track. You just have to go back and revisit your steps in order to realize, okay, what did it take to get me where I was at before? Retrace those steps and you'll have exactly more of that, more success and everything. So let's do like another little tiny reading here just for that, because we're talking about July. Let's look at that visa, see what we need to think about on that for a minute. As far as the job goes and stuff like that, I don't see that really being a problem for you. I don't see it being a problem at all. But let's look at the situation with the visa and the job. We'll do a 3-card spread here. Okay, so Knight of Wands is just being persevering, taking action now and fast. So things are going well fast, so that's good. Next card is a Star. Star is, oh wow, this is one of the major arcana cards. It's a wish card. You can also think of it like that on some level. People say, twinkle, twinkle, little star, I wonder what you are up above the sky, so bright, like a diamond in the sky. I wish I may, I wish I might have the wish I wish tonight. It's a little child's hymn or nursery rhyme, or not. Forgive me, my mind. But the Star is a very psychic card, and this is about shining light on things that maybe you haven't seen before, you haven't considered before. And getting, when you see, like, for example, like in astrology, when the stars align, it really showcases or forecasts like, okay, things are moving in a good direction for you. So that's very positive. So, it's one of those things, you have to be a little bit patient with the Star, but you have that Knight of Wands, it's telling you, okay, there's urgency here that's needed, and to just keep persevering, and to, if you've got applications or resumes, if you've been out on Indeed or you're talking to other companies and this, that, and the other, and you need sponsorship for that visa, being expedient is going to be really good. You got the luck of the stars on your side. That's very helpful and all. And then finally, you have the luck of the mother. The Empress and all, she's got the very maternal kind of instincts. She represents like Mother Earth or nature, Prakriti, we call it like in Sanskrit. But she also represents like maybe bringing in like something else, like a child or something like that also into the mix. The 3, though, is about like, it's not you against something else. It's not this dual kind of energy. It's you combining yourself with other resources and other things around you. So it can be very possible that someone that you've worked with in the past or that you have a connection with, coworker, someone possibly and all, will be able to help you out, and bring something into being for you. It could be a female kind of energy. I'm just saying that because the Empress card came up. Or it could be someone that just really has kind of like an affection for you, that wants to see you do well. And that person, has your best interest at heart and is out there willing to help you. So get out there, make it happen. Know that luck, Lady Luck, if you want to call her that, is on your side. I say Lady Luck because we have the Empress. And the Empress and all is there to take mercy on you and to help you out in so many different ways, that is encouraging and positive and will ultimately get you what you want. Yeah, so like, let's just, no worries. Everything is going to be fine. I'm not picking up anything negative as far as the visa goes. I think if you're expedient and you get out there and you start to put out the applications and things, you might even have a job offer kind of in limbo right now or in the wait. You will get something and something will come about for you. It's easy to see the negative side of things, especially with all the jobs and things that, companies, big tech companies, for example, have been laying off people left and right, I saw something in one of my news feeds earlier. A company had laid off so many people and stuff, and that was just a day or so back. So, don't let that stuff influence you, though. Keep your mind straight. Everything's going to be good. And, things will continue to build and continue to brighten up as you get closer and closer to that 7th month or that November date. And then at that point, you're entered into the cycle of the 8-year. And then that's when money, finances, and things will really start to happen and income. This that has happened to you, the real message here, the thing that I really want to articulate in is that this is a good thing in a lot of ways that this has happened to you. I know when the rug gets swept out from underneath you and you get that tower kind of energy, it seems really negative. But in your particular instance, like with this particular spread, it's a positive thing. Like we said, like when we got to the answer card, we got that 5 of Pentacles. It was basically telling you, hey, go back and revisit your steps. How did you get successful before? How did you get the visa before? How did you get the job before? How did all of this stuff materialize? How have you been able to achieve all the things that you've been able to achieve? Don't forget the path that you took to be successful, to get the things out of life that you've gotten. All you have to do is just go back and do exactly the same thing, and you should get the same result, ideally. And that's what I'm kind of picking up. So that's kind of your answer there. But the reason that this happened now and not like 7 or 8 months down the line is because this is like the opportunity where I think in your particular instance, your situation, your particular case, this happened now because it's going to help you as you continue to move forward. And it's going to help you in a big way, because what will happen is now that you've been there, done that, and you've seen this side of it, you're going to be extra careful. And, as you start to see more and more greater success happen and all, you're going to be very wise with the decisions that you make regarding that wealth and your decisions and everything on that, because you don't want a repeat of this. You don't want to have this tower happen to you again. Nobody wants that, right? So, but because it happened, it's going to give you an appreciation for all the blessings and all the good things that have come to you, and that will continue to come to you. So that's my take on everything, and that's really what I'm picking up. So, yeah, when you sent this email before, I had to kind of do a little bit of wait and see on it. I had to kind of like let it kind of get over my mind. I wasn't picking up anything really negative, or I would have told you that right off the bat. But then I didn't really understand the whole direction until just now, just doing the reading and everything. So if you have any questions, of course, I'm always here for you. Please don't hesitate to ask questions. Like I said, I'll help you any way I possibly can. I just pick up a lot of positive energy. Like that sun energy is the best card in the deck. If you get that, no matter what other cards you have, any negativity becomes diluted. I mean, so diluted that it's like, it doesn't really matter. I mean, only in the moment does it really matter, but then you start to see the upside of it happen very quickly down the line. So yeah, things are going to be really good for you. Not picking up anything negative whatsoever. So anyways, much love and many blessings. If you need anything, please reach out. And that goes for all of you guys. If you guys need anything, please reach out to me. I got links in the description below this video. There's ways to contact me and everything. And anyways, much love and many blessings. I will see you guys on the next episode of Indirect Knowledge. Have a great day.